Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 12 of Multiblock Madness. Since last episode, there has been a pack update, and the most relevant change in that pack update for us, at least immediately, is that the slate grind that we're in has actually gotten a little bit easier. So slates still produce the same number of crushed slate, but now it takes less crushed slate to make blank runes. This used to be 6. In fact, only some of the recipes were updated. It still takes 6 to 1 in the compressor. But in the squeezer, it's 4 to 1. So our blank rune grind has gotten a little bit easier. Another thing that's gotten a little bit easier is that there's more capsules. So this list here is just larger. There's stuff like the, let's see, the runic matrix now has a capsule. So we can deploy the runic matrix automatically instead of having to actually build the thing. Because if I recall, the quest book says, like, it gives us a list of blocks it's built out of, but this is a lot of blocks. Well, I guess this thing. It's a lot of blocks, and there's like floating blocks and stuff, right? So wouldn't it be easier to, wait, where does this niter even go? The middle, I assume. But, yeah, wouldn't it be easier to build it with a capsule? So anyways, 60 stack and a half of reinforced slates is enough. In fact, now it only takes 1 stack of reinforced slates to make the stack of blank runes we need. So let's take these, run them through the crusher. Crush. There we go. Energy. And then we can take the 4 stacks of slates that we should get from it. And then run those through the squeezer. I forget how this works. Input there. Output comes to here. Yeah, and then the fluid output gets voided. Perfect. Deploy the runic matrix. Now it does say that the niter is not part of it, so we do have to figure out where exactly the niter goes. Can we, if we hold shift, that kind of outlines the blocks, but doesn't actually tell me where the... I'm gonna assume it's the dead center. Even though it doesn't explicitly say. So 1, 2, here. Break that conduit. Throw a pearl in, and hey, look at that, we guessed right. Now that we've made the matrix, everything else should be pretty easy to make. These are just, yeah, a bunch of arcane stone and a cast's gauntlet. It's pretty simple. To turn the runic matrix item into the multi-block, I think all you have to do is build this thing, yeah, and sprinkle some Salus on it. I'm going to start with 12 pedestals. Now let's perhaps push these out one more layer. I think 12 is enough to do every recipe in the game, but I might have missed a few, and there might be some that need more. So I'm going to leave myself room for more if it turns out we do need more. Alright, then the quest gives us conveniently a bunch of stabilizing items. So let's claim those. And we can place these anywhere around the altar to stabilize it. I kind of want to make sure I have access to the pedestal itself. So why don't we place these like this? So right now our altar has 0 stability. That's just like the baseline value. As you add stabilizers like the candles, the skulls, etc., that value goes up. So once I have these placed, let's see how much we have. It might go down. I forget whether negative or positive is good. Anyways, there we go. So it's 0.35. I guess positive is good. So anyways, there's limits to how much stability you can get from each item type. Like, I think all skulls count as one item type. Or each candle color counts as its own item type. Anyways, I like to have more than about half. I think somewhere around 2 to 3 is when you're pretty comfortable. So let's make the item called a literal stabilizer. Those dramatically improve altar stability. These stabilizers pull double duty in stabilizing the altar. First of all, they literally increase the stability value. And secondly, they swallow instability effects by destroying them effectively. So to make them work, they have to be connected to your pedestal via redstone inlay, and immediately you see them off-gassing these little puffs of flux. That is, I guess, a third effect they do. They very slowly consume the flux in a chunk. So this chunk has 66. They'll gradually get rid of that, and I'm not actually quite sure what exactly they do with it. But they do something to it, I think. At least that's what the little pucks are. Anyways, now that it's all hooked up, we should be able to check our thing again, and it's more stable. 1 point whatever is a reasonable amount of stability. Maybe I'll grab some skulls to round it out. When placing anything that affects stability, it's important that you maintain symmetry. The Eldritch gods like symmetry. All right, 1.4, good enough. Now that we have that, we can move on. The next goal is to make these altar caps. So these altar caps are quite involved. The primal voids on this come from just mining the beneath. I'll have to head back there and mine some again. But this third eye is why we have to make it in the infusion altar. So let's see. Runes are easy. Force relays from Britannia, easy. Mana diamonds, easy. So we have to make antiseptic. This is made with... First of all, let's see. How much of this do I ever need? Is it only to make the third eye? And I only ever need one third eye? Or at least one per altar? Alright, so probably not that much. I don't have to craft a huge amount of it. Let's start with plant oil then. So that's plants and bone meal. Made in our Dear Alchemy table, which can be automated, but for now I don't think I need such high volume that we need to automate it. If you are automating it, I believe it's final output, out the bottom, blood orb, the side, and ingredients atop or something like that, and you can shift right click slots to lock them. So anyways, we're gonna make some plant oil, and then I just need a bunch of pretty common things. Now it does require, oh wait, no, never mind, minimum tier 2. Okay, so we should have all of this. Making it though does require 1,000 LP out of our life essence network. This one only uses 100, and I'm pretty sure we don't have 1,000 in our network. I would check, but I used up my divination sigil in a crafting recipe earlier, so I don't, and I just haven't recrafted it yet. Actually, let's just recraft the divination sigil. It's pretty simple, right? It's a blank slate. That's not a blank slate. The arcane ashes, and was it redstone? Let's see how good my memory was. This, that, time in a bottle. Hey, I remembered right. So yeah, we have 1,000, but I want to make 2 of these. So to fill our life essence network a little bit, I'm just going to take the blood orb and dunk it into our altar briefly. The higher tier blood orb you put in your altar, the more total life essence you can store. So I guess I'm used to there being like a bar up here when you hold it that tells you what your maximum is, but I guess it's not going to tell me. That's all right. Hey, can you finish crafting? Just dunk the blood orb in there, and then it'll soak up life essence until it's full. Let's just leave that. I have another blood orb we could use for crafting while that one soaks, I think. Good job, Pass Jimmy. Right, I do the apprentice one. Alright, so now drop this in, and that should start crafting. I assume this is time in a bottle. I just don't know which of the... Yeah, looks like that's the one you time in a bottle. Oh, it does make 2 each. Whoops. Alright, so with this, I might have to craft some summer runes, but we can make our... Well, we have everything ready to make the third eye. It's cake baking time. The rune of winter requires a cake each, probably making it the most pain in the butt of the runes to craft, but the starlight transmutation way of making cakes makes them very easy to make. However, you can't pick, it creates like a cake entity in game, and as far as I know, there's no way to take a cake entity in game and turn it back into the cake item. So making cakes the old-fashioned way. All right, cakes don't stack. Man, everything about cakes is a pain in the butt. The fact that cakes don't stack probably means they don't click on correctly as well, yeah. Like the same way the fishing rods didn't. Not quite sure why that is. I thought they used to work, but I don't know. Oh, come on. I don't want to place a cake. I can't stay there right now. If that stays there, that blocks the... Yeah. Oh, we're down to cake. Wants cake. Well, after that unmitigated... Wait. The cake right-clicked on that time. I don't understand. After that unmitigated disaster, we managed to scrounge together 6 runes of winter, and that's probably just sufficient for our needs. So I think that's the last thing we needed in the third eye. Yep. I suppose we still need to gather up these aspects. For my source of spiritus, or soul, that'll come from soul sand. It has 3 points per. So I need, if I'm going to do the craft twice, I need double these numbers, right? 100. So 100 times 6, or 3 times 64, way over 100. Perfect. For Precantatio, I'm going to use Precantatio Vispods. These are just grown from seeds. They're a pure source. So we need 200. This is well over 200. And for Census, I'm going to use Glowstone. There's plenty of other sources, but Glowstone provides Lux as well, which is useful later. So anyways, let's get that melting. Let's get this time in a bottle. I think time in a bottling speeds up both the melting and the distilling. Maybe it doesn't speed up the distilling. So I guess we have to, whatever. It's going to distill reasonably quickly. While that happens, let's just go ahead and get everything placed onto the altars. So, what am I missing? There you go. I just had to grab the antiseptic. So when placing the items, you have to maintain some degree of symmetry. The items don't have to be symmetrical with like their copies, and you don't have to maintain rotational symmetry. You only need, or rather, you don't have to maintain. You do have to maintain No, you have to maintain 180 degree rotational symmetry. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. So you don't have to maintain perfect symmetry. Like in this case, you know, this one and that right there is 90 degree rotational symmetry is off here. By the way, there's a rift. We'll deal with that later. But this should be good. So once you get to this point, you can start the craft by clicking on the runic matrix with a Caster's Gauntlet. You want to first make sure you have all of, at least, yeah, you want to make sure you have all of your aspects melted down first. So we have Precantatio, Census, and what was the last one? Spiritus. Have we... Oh, the rifts do hurt you for touching them, so don't hug them too much. I assume it's in here somewhere based on the fact that the item that it came from is no longer here. I'm going to assume it's going to work. Let's start. So it'll start by pulling in the Essentia from nearby jars. It has a 12 block range, which is why I put it right here. The furthest jar is exactly 12 blocks away. You can speed it up with a time in a bottle, but if you do, make sure you actually have the Essentia that's flowing into it. If you don't, it becomes unstable very quickly while getting time in a bottle. So, flow. So far, so good. Perhaps being a little optimistic to time in a bottle at this much, but there we go. And then it sucks in the items, and then it's done. Cool. So I'm gonna do this twice just because I want enough to make 2 altars. Don't know if we're gonna make a second altar ever, but it's easier to, you know, batch craft than have to come back and regather all these ingredients again. That crafts in, let's look at our good friend the Rift. First of all, it's probably worth scanning, although we did the cheater Thaumonomicon thing, so I don't think there's actually any research to be gained. Nothing to be learned. Alright, so look at how much flux is in this chunk. It's a lot because most of it's being released by the pump here. The Rift will slowly absorb the flux in the chunk. In fact, it'll rather quickly absorb the flux in the chunk to grow over time, but at some point when the flux is all gone, the rift will then start shrinking, and then once the rift has finished shrinking, it'll disappear, spawning a taint tentacle. You want to kill that taint tentacle before it starts doing damage in nearby blocks. So let's keep an eye on this. There's another way to deal with rifts, and that is with a collapse. Nope. What's it called? This thing. A causality collapser. It's looks quite easy to make actually, and especially now that we have access to the runic matrix. Let's make a couple of these because I need at least a few. They're used to collapse the rifts, which gives you void seeds, and the void seed can then be grown into a void metal ingot in a crucible or the thaumatorium, and then the void metal ingot can make the void the other void seed, the void metal seed, so that we don't have to, oh, void metal seeds are tier 4. I thought they were tier 5. Anyways, we can use that to make the void metal seed so we don't have to farm rifts for void seeds anymore. Anyways, the other thing that these can drop are primordial pearls, which do have an alternate recipe that's very good because the drop rate is like 1 in 8, and we definitely need a couple primordial pearls to make stuff like advanced alchemical constructs and probably some of this stuff eventually. craft those causality collapses now. While we can use it to close this, and I'm going to use it to demonstrate how it works, it doesn't actually solve our problem because the rift is what's removing out flux from the chunk. So by removing the rift, the flux in the chunk is actually just going to stay high, and I suspect almost immediately a new rift is going to spawn. But that doesn't, that doesn't mean we can't get rid of the old one, if only briefly. Let's see. 8 items. I'm going to craft a couple. Anyways, when you use this, it creates a little explosion, so you don't want to put it directly on your rift, although apparently it doesn't damage blocks and claim chunks. There we go. Rift is closed, we got our void seeds. And if you just heard that sound, that was the sound of another rift opening. We just have to find it real quick. That was the sound of a block breaking. There we go. So when the rifts form, they can grief the blocks they touch. So this rift is in a pretty inconvenient place because I don't want it to like grief my altar. So I'm going to I'm going to blow this one up again. They are per chunk, so this one, like, it's guaranteed to spawn somewhere in this chunk. But anyways, go away. You do gain some warp for closing the rifts, but in just about a second, I expect to hear another rift form. See if we can find it when it does. Maybe we got the flux low enough that it's not going. 154. Still going down. Where are you? The fact that it's going down means there probably is a rift somewhere. I see it. Or no, maybe that's just the work of our stabilizers. Alright, we're gonna get a better way to manage flux very soon. Don't worry about it. Found you. Be gone. Alright, now I'm out of stabilizers. I didn't happen to get a whatchamacallit, crystal primordial pearl. Oh well, odds are another one will form because our flux is still high. But as I said, well, we got it down to 90. Oh no, that's the adjacent chunk. We'll deal with it later. To help me look for void stone, I set a scanner on it this time. Oh wow, quite a bit of it. It's like just barely beneath the surface. And may as well get whatever this is while I'm at it. Anyways, I need 4 pieces, but I'm gonna get a little bit extra because I'm sure this won't be our last time using it. Oh, tier 5. We'll be back. Turn this in the atomic reconstructor into the other type of void stone. And I think it was 4 to 1 eye. Yep. Turn that into primal void stone, and it takes 4 of these per altar. These are the altar caps. So what we have to do, come over here, put them on top of these here. Normally in Blood Magic, these are the tier 3 caps are glowstone, but in this pack they've been modified to be these primal void stone blocks. Anyways, I'm going to then put functional runes all along the edge here. For now, I'm just going to make them all runes of sacrifice, I think, because sacrifice runes are actually easier to make than blank runes, funny enough, because sacrifice runes just take like a gem of sacrifice, so it's 2 reinforced slates makes 4 sacrifice runes. So I need a total of 20 if I counted right. 1, and you auto balance. 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. And then we can use our beautiful exchanging gadget to swap them on. Get that block, swap with those blocks. Bam. And then our altar should now be tier 3. So if we check it with our divination sigil, no, it's still tier 2. What does it not like? Maybe the void zone is supposed to replace the top block there. Let's try that. That appears to have done it. So now it says our altar is tier 3. So I guess in general, the caps replace the block that they're the top block of the pillar. They don't go on top of it. Cool. So anyways, because I have a lot of sacrifice runes now, let's count how many theoretically we have. 20 in this ring plus 8 in that ring, so 28. We should have, 3.8x blood production for 28 because you get 100% baseline, which means per cycle here, we actually produce 3,000 blood. So we can take our blood orb out, turn you back on, And now this thing should be able to produce tons of blood. So even if I time to bottle this mob agonizer can probably keep up, at least to some degree. Maybe not with 3 time to bottle uses. Each use doubles it, right? So you go 1x to 2x to 4x to 8x. Actually, even at 8x crafting speed, the mob agonizer can keep up. What that's telling me is that realistically I should swap some of these sacrifice runes for speed runes, but speed runes don't have that like same cheap crafting recipe. You have to literally upgrade them from blade. So anyways, next thing we have to craft our imbued slates. So let's take the reinforced slate out of there so that they keep crafting. So these right now I also have it crafting 8 at a time, just to reduce the amount of pause time there is, right, between when you start one craft, or between when like you extract the item and the next craft starts. So anyways, those are still reinforced, right? Yep, leave them in here a little bit longer. And as you start crafting the higher tier ones too, the amount of blood per tick it uses goes up. But anyways, let's give it a second to finish up here. Okay, now I love the time in a bottle when doing blood magic-y things. This mod, it can be a little bit slow while you're getting it started, so being able to speed it up semi-arbitrarily is pretty good. One more go. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you, Blood Altar. There's a upgraded sigil that can... Seer sigil, yeah. There's a... But it requires... Oh, we can make it. That'll tell you the crafting progress. Whatever. Here we go. We have 8 imbued slates now. Cool. So with imbued slates, I think we are ready to make the arc furnace. Apparently we don't have to do this stuff to make it. All right, let's make ourselves the arc furnace. I think the imbued slates go into... What component here do they go into? Yeah. Gathered up all the ingredients for the arc furnace. So we see the quest just popped there. Maybe not. I might just have to chisel the steel into a different... No, where's my... Oh, okay, it's already in my chisel. Hold on. Steel, come out. You were whining about this earlier, so I thought I fixed that. Nope, missing 6 blocks of steel. All right, what type of steel do you want? Probably immersive? That filled it, right? Yeah. Anyways, what was I saying? I still haven't figured out what I needed those slates for yet, but I guess it'll become clear to me in time. Let's rotate this such that it's facing this way. I think, it's tough to tell. Let's just place it. Whoops. Is that the right way? That's the way I wanted it, yeah. Well, perhaps not right there. Come on. There we go. So this is the arc furnace. We can form it with our hammer. And I believe it's that block. There we go. To power it, we plug into these ports. It uses a lot of energy, so we might have to step up our power production. Oh, shoot, can I can't undo that anymore, can I? No. It's fine. It might be a little difficult we need a mixer, or like a fuel mixer and a diesel generator somewhere near these 2 machines. We'll figure it out. There might be some dire wire involved. Anyways, to use the arc furnace now, we need electrodes. So graphite electrodes are... Whoa, boy. Okay, we figured out why we need imbued slates. Yeah. These electrodes kind of suck. They are unbreakable, though, so that's a big deal. All right, so we have to make 3 of these to power the thing, which means hot graphite ingots, I suspect, are the normal way. You smelt hot graphite dust, which comes from squeezing coke dust. Yeah. So let's start with those. That's the easy part. Grab some of our coke. Oh, our thing's still here. Let me get a trash can real quick. This is apparently not an ender conduit, so I don't get priorities, but whatever. This one thing of crystal oil is more than enough. So if we ever use some, then we start voiding inefficiently. It's the pressurized conduit is a 50, or it's a round robin split by default, and you can't change it. So anyways, take coal coke, brush it, get coke dust. This is probably more than I need, but whatever. Run it through squeezer. Apparently out of energy. And get hot graphite dust. Don't accidentally throw that out. 18 pieces is more than enough. Smelt that up. Cool. So that's the hot graphite ingots. We've already made our imbued states. All that's left is bitumen. This, unfortunately, is not a trivial thing to do. We need crude oil for it, which the only way to get that is to pump it. So we're going to need a pump jack. This is probably why this quest is here, to get oil. Yep, so let's get ourselves a pump jack and a core drill sample to find the oil. To find oil, we need to use our core drill sample, or core sample drill. I keep getting that mixed up. It needs a little bit of power, so place a capacitor next to it and set the output. I believe one bar of its internal buffer 8000 RF is enough for one run. So you run it. Lied, it is not enough for one run. And you get a core sample. So this says there is a galena vein in this chunk. The mineral veins have been made unlimited. So if I really want galena and I put a excavator here, I get unlimited galena. But that's not what I want right now. I want fluid veins. I'm looking for oil. So that's not what I want. We set that down and move on. So nothing in this chunk. Let's check this one. It doesn't matter where in the chunk you are as long as you're chunk. So this one has crude oil. Perfect. It also has silver. I don't need the silver, but I need the crude. We'll set this here as a reminder, and this will be our crude. Actually, I don't even need to put a waypoint there. We just put the pump jack here. All right. Sure, that'll do. Yes. Place the pump jack. Form the pump jack. You click to do that. That one, apparently. To power it, we have to get... Well, it needs power, so we have to get some RF to it. I'm even going to go ahead and swap out all of our flux ducts over to universal cables. These, in addition to being universal, have far greater throughput and are far easier to upgrade. If I want to upgrade them later, we just have to click the next tier alloy onto any segment of the cable. Whereas if I want to upgrade flux ducts, I have to, literally tear up every single one. So, honestly, the throughput of basic universal cables might just last us through to the late game, because each connection can transport the entire buffer in energy per tick. So its practical throughput is extremely high, even for just a basic one. All plugged in. Take off the redstone signal to turn it on, and it pumps crude oil. It does use a healthy chunk of RF to do so. I believe it's 500 a tick. The fact that it's draining my energy buffer faster than I can fill it means that it's probably even more than that. You are outputting as fast as you can. Right? Is your bottom side output? Yeah. And these two sides are an input. I don't know. It uses... Wait, so why is my cable not getting filled by this? That's not right. Something's very weird. Why are you not outputting any energy? If I get rid of you, you're not inputting any. No, you are outputting. Okay. This you're inputting at the same... You're inputting at the same rate you output. Or at a greater rate than you can output. I'm going to change something real quick. I'm going to just take my second capacitor here and put them together to make it even, one of the faster multi-block capacitors. By putting two capacitors together, they add their output per connection together. Okay, anyways, this thing might still use more energy than I can produce. No, it doesn't. I thought it used 512, but it might use slightly more than that. But anyways, it produces crude oil pretty darn quick. Now, it will continue to use energy, even if the oil tank here is full. So I want to see, this is not measure fullness. I'll use one of the RF tools, whatever you call these things, liquid monitors, to measure the fullness of the tank then. And if it's over a certain amount full, we can turn off the pump. I have it set to 85%. When this tank reaches 85%, which should be any minute now, that'll cause the pump to turn off, so we don't waste energy. It doesn't waste the fluid in the reservoir if it's pumping it into nothing, but it does waste the RF. So anyways, what is 80% of this? Or 85%? That'd be like minus 10 buckets from full. So just about now. There we go. And there we go. We are not wasting power anymore. All right. we are nearing the end of today, but I think the process of refining this down with the ginormous distillation tower and stuff is going to take a little while longer. So instead of going to finish out chapter 4 today, why don't we real quick deal with these rifts? First, I need to make myself a elemental inscription tool for each of these elements. That goes into making the ritual diviner. There's a couple tiers of ritual diviner, but the lowest tier one will do for now. So, doesn't like auto import. I hope the fact that these have durability isn't a problem. There we go. So that's the basic ritual diviner. Then I need to set this to the appropriate ritual, which, oh boy, what is it called? I don't even remember. From the Animus mod. Rituals, not calling this one. How much did I tell? Eldritch Will. Yes, so the Ritual of Eldritch Will. I think I'm mistaken about what tier I need actually to do this ritual. I swear I've been through this list like 10 times and I haven't seen the Ritual of Eldritch Will here. Which means that this Ritual Diviner is not of sufficiently high tier. What the? Peaceful Souls. This Ritual Diviner is not a sufficiently high tier to do it, which means that this is a tier 4 or above ritual. I think this what we currently have is a tier 3 Ritual Diviner. Basically, it corresponds to the altar tier required to make it. There's tier 3, 4, and 5, and if it's not in here, then it's not doable yet. So for now, we just have to stare at this rift, and at some point when it cleans a chunk up enough, there's a lot of work left for it to do. When it cleans a chunk up enough, it'll turn into a little tendril, and we just have to kill that. But since I'm not playing a server right now, you know, it's basically never chunk loaded when I'm not online, so I don't really have to worry about this turning my base into a whole bunch of purple goop. So anyways, we'll be back next time to continue to observe this rift. It looks kind of like a smiley face, and continue on our journey towards the end of the steel chapter. Well, no, the end of the refined iron chapter here. Anyways, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.